It's supposed to feel.
Yo, yo, yo. Good evening. You're listening to the NS9 Postgame Show. I am Jim. Joining me today, Tyler. Tyler, the Pirates take the opening game of a 4-game series against the Cardinals 5-0 today.
Yes. You know what? It doesn't matter how the Pirates are doing. There's just something about beating the Cardinals it feels good.
Yeah, I mean it's a team that the Pirates I don't believe have finished above in the standings since 1997. So yeah, anytime you can beat the Cardinals, especially in St. Louis, dude, I'll take that. I'll take that all day.
Yeah, I don't care if they say we're like little brother that's just like punching up and gets excited like the Browns do with the Steelers. I don't care if I'm that little brother right now. I just want to beat the Cardinals.
Yeah, and beat the Cardinals they did. I guess we can start off with Vince Velasquez getting the start today. His first 2 starts, shaky to say the least. Shaky, borderline, just completely dreadful. So he gets the ball today. By far his best start in a Pirates uniform. 6 scoreless innings. He was getting a lot of swings and misses too. He struck out 6, walked 2. Gave up 3 hits, so kept people off of the base paths. Never really was in trouble for the game, to be honest. So yeah, I mean, just a really good performance from Vince Velasquez. I think he generated 18 swings and misses, so 18 whiffs today. Everything was working.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason this guy's in Major League Baseball, and it's not really results based. It's because the stuff is electric, and it's kind of just a classic Vince Velasquez start. I'm not really buying stock on him right now, but every now and then when your stuff is that good, you're going to have outings like this. The key is the Pirates have to get a little more consistency out of him because the stuff is obviously there. Like you just said, it was swings and misses today. If he can just command the hair, he's a very effective pitcher.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean 39% whiff rate for the game. So yeah, I mean everything was on. He threw, quite a bit of fastball, over 50% fastballs, but slider, changeup, they were all working. He only threw a couple curveballs, so I'm not gonna say much there, but yeah, just an excellent pitching performance. This is basically his ceiling. Like you're not going to get much better out of Vince Velasquez than what we saw tonight. But hey, if he's going to do this and he can give it to you every once in a while, he can at least be serviceable in this role. I'm still very skeptical. Like I think he's still best suited as a reliever. But like you mentioned, the stuff is there. So when it's all working, he's capable of doing things like he did tonight.
Yeah, he's kind of like reminiscent to Charlie Morton. The stuff, you can see it all there. Morton obviously figured it out at one point, but Velasquez still hasn't really in his career. But the stuff obviously plays.
Yeah, I mean that's a good comparison there. I mean, Vince Velasquez was a highly rated prospect coming up because of his stuff, and he just really hasn't had the success at the major league level. So, yeah, I mean the talent's there. The command is typically what the problem is, especially with just where pitches should be within the strike zone.
Yeah.
But yeah, today he was best we've seen him. Best we've seen him all year, including spring training.
Yeah, I mean, you just gotta hope you can get this like probably more than one ever out of 3 starts. Like he doesn't have to be this good, but you have to be able to keep the team in the game.
Yeah, and keeping the team in the game is what he did tonight because he faced a really good starter in Jordan Montgomery, who also had his stuff working tonight.
Yeah.
He pitched into the 7th. The Pirates were finally able to get to him that third time through the order. Basically, they squeak by a run in the 6th with a that was when Kutch doubled and Santana hit him in. Yeah. So that they got a run in there. Let's actually talk about Kutch real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I know you mentioned, you talked about him a little bit on a previous post-game show, but like when you brought him in this offseason, you're expecting, hey, let's get a veteran leader who can, show this team how to win. And it's April 13th, Tyler, and I'm fairly certain that he's the second best hitter on this team.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty fair assessment, man. Like, I mentioned before, I didn't know if the bat speed would still be there at the advanced stage, but it sure as hell looks like it's there. And the ability to just have so much command in the box, his eye is as good, I think, as it's ever been. And this is a guy that doesn't have the talent he did at one point, and he's still able to just lay off so much stuff. Approach-wise, he's probably as good as he's ever been right now.
I agree. Yeah, I 100% agree. Today, he another walk. That was his 10th walk of the season. He gets a sacrifice fly, so he drives in a run. The double led to the team's first run. The guy's walking at a 21% clip right now. He's just handling the bat really well. Like, I don't think he's had maybe that first at bat of the game he struck out, but he just doesn't, like, he looks like a professional up there. And he's up there with a plan, and he just executes. Like, he executes that plan. He stays kind of within himself. Like, he knows who he is at this point. And man, he's been fun to watch this year because he's doing everything that like peak McCutchen did, from a just like a plate discipline standpoint. But I think you even mentioned, like, I think I agree with you. Like, I think it's better now than it even was then. And it was really good then. Yeah. But I think, he was a better hitter then too.
Yeah.
So I think now he's kind of just maybe taken the approach of, I know I'm really good at this one thing, and I'm going to pick and choose at what I'm going to swing at. And it's been working for him so far.
Yeah, but he's just very selective. And like you said, he's up there with a plan. And he does not stray from it right now. Now, obviously, the league's going to punch back. They're going to find something that will get by him. But the way he's going right now, I have a hard time imagining he's anything less than a pretty above average hitter this year.
And they need him to be. I mean, especially with Cruz now out.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Reynolds doing his thing, but the Pirates, like I said, this isn't what they asked McCutchen to come in and do, but they could really use like a huge comeback season out of him, to be honest. And we'll talk about this later, but McCutchen's 36 years old. And like, I think going into the season, everyone maybe could have agreed that, he's probably not a Hall of Famer. He's falling short there. Hall of Very Good.
Mm-hmm.
Tyler, if he finishes his career in Pittsburgh and he kind of has like a rejuvenation, could we have some Kutch Hall of Fame talk eventually?
I think it would probably take 2 or 3 good years.
Okay. I'm with you there. Like, I think he's got to crack, like, he's got to get real close to like 60 WAR.
Right.
But
and like maybe another all-star
tough.
Appearance might help.
Yeah. But that's the conversation for down the road. But as of right now, Kutch looks great. I think you got to be thrilled with what you see out of him.
Oh, yes. I mean, I think we all had a little bit of worry in the back of our mind that what if he does come back and he's just not good anymore because he is 36 years old.
And last year was his worst season. Yeah.
Yeah.
Last year was his worst season at the plate. But yeah, I mean, he doesn't, like, he looks like a different player than what we've seen the last few years. It's like he's re-energized or something. Maybe it's just coming home.
Yeah, he looks better than his last 2 years in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it's early, so I'm not quite ready to like say
I mean, he
that,
wasn't that good then.
but
He had like a 1 more the 1 year.
yeah, he was pretty good in 2017, but
Yeah, 2016 wasn't.
2016 not so much. But no, excellent start to the year for Andrew McCutchen. Really just hoping he can continue to put together good at bats. Like I don't think he's going to stick with a 160 weighted runs created plus all year, but hey, if he can bounce back to like 120, I'll take that 10 out of 10 times.
Pirates don't have many 120 hitters.
No, they haven't in a while.
They have not in a
They
long
haven't
time.
had multiple ones in a while. And then also kind of along the same lines of Andrew McCutchen, another key contributor today with 2 doubles, including a walk. Another guy who just, when he goes up to the plate, he gives you a professional at bat every time. He's not having quite the success that McCutchen's having, but he's been a staple in the middle of the lineup. He's kind of added some stability, but Carlos Santana, big role today as well.
Yeah, had me a little concerned there. Going home on a contact play. Thankfully, avoided what seems to be any injury there. But we said it all offseason. The guy obviously has a great approach at the plate. He knows what he's trying to do. He adds a little bit of longevity to this lineup. You can get a little deeper on the starters. It's just every at bat he goes up there is a professional at bat. There's not much more to say about him other than like he just goes in, hard hat, lunch pail. He's going to work at the plate every day. It's the same guy.
And it's just really nice. Like, I mean, when Reynolds is in the lineup and you go like Reynolds, Kutch, Santana back to back to back, like those are 3 legitimate offensive players that pitchers need to bear down and they need to be like in the game when those guys are up. And we saw today, McCutchen, Santana combined for the first run. Santana was involved in the second run. And then we get the back-to-back homers in the 8th inning by both Connor Joe and Rodolfo Castro. Connor Joe, another guy that we're talking about all guys we brought in this year, right? McCutchen, Santana.
I love this
Connor Joe. Connor Joe's been outstanding today. Big home run. He was 2 for 4. He's batting 391, 481 on base percentage. We're talking about McCutchen's on base percentage. Connor Joe has a higher one, and slugging 652. Like, man, it's just these guys they brought in this offseason. They're all performing.
Yeah, and Connor Joe's first 2 at bats today takes them both to a full count. Just really good quality at bats. That's really what we've seen from him all year. We talked about McCutchen, his walk rate right now. Santana, the professional at bats he puts together. Connor Joe, he's putting together great at bats all the time. That's 3 guys in the middle of your lineup. Throw in Ji-Man Choi every now and then. That's 3 guys that are going to see probably 20 more pitches a game between the 3 of them, who, depending on who's in the lineup, compared to last year. That is huge. The ability to get to a bullpen earlier by this team this year is night and day.
Yeah, I mean, you hit that. So the ability to get to a bullpen earlier, right? When you have hitters in your lineup that make pitchers work, even if they're not getting outs, like even if they're not getting hits and they're getting out, but they're making pitchers work, having multiple guys in the lineup like that, it just allows you to get to that bullpen quicker. And here's the thing with major league bullpens, they're typically pitchers are in bullpens because they're not good enough to be starters. Starters pitch more innings than relievers because they're better than them typically. So like you want to get to that bullpen as quick as you can. And the Pirates got to that bullpen. They got to it late today. It took them a while to get to Montgomery, but then once they got to him, they were able to get to that Cardinals bullpen. Jordan Hicks comes in, looked awful. Genesis Cabrera relieves him. The Pirates touch him up for 2 homers back to back. And then Chris Stratton comes in, our old friend Chris Stratton, and he gives up an RBI. Actually, no, not an RBI, a wild pitch that scored Brian Hayes there in the 9th. So, Hayes with a double. Not another rough game for him, but
Yeah.
that double kind of snuck in there.
Yeah.
But no, I mean just a really well played game by the offense. I said it took a while to get going today, but once they got going, they scored in each of the last 4 innings. And when you score that often, that late in baseball games, you're going to win.
Yeah, and just they did get to Montgomery late today. But going back to those guys seeing all those pitches, the ability to turn the order over and see him a third time, you've seen so much from him at that point. You're able to touch him up a little bit there. There's just so much importance to what's going on in the middle of this order right now.
Yeah, and let me just to keep going down the line here, like Ji-Hwan Bae,
right?
Outstanding defense. Yeah, against the lefty today, but outstanding defensively. He didn't get a great jump on the dive, but he made up for it with his speed and athleticism. And then the play at the wall against Tyler O'Neill.
That was impressive.
That was a huge play.
He closed a lot of ground very quickly.
Yeah. So maybe he's looked good out there in center field. Like he's looked pretty good out there. He's looked better in center field than he has at second base, if I'm being honest. And I was thinking with Cruz getting knocked out, that would kind of put Bae in like a permanent second baseman role. I still think that's ultimately maybe where he ends up just because of the other second base options that are out there. And we'll get some, I don't know if you even want to touch on Matthias, but he's looked really, really bad in his 3 games. Awful defensively, awful offensively. He's doesn't look like he just hasn't looked like he's belonged. It's only 3 games, but he's looked bad. He is bad. Yeah, I think at this point, like Ji-Hwan Bae's got to be in the lineup every day.
He does. Him and Castro both, I think, at this point, you have to have them in the lineup every single day. I understand giving Bae some time off, maybe against some tougher lefties. Not at the expense of Mark Matthias in my life. I don't need that. That's just cruel and unusual punishment. I don't want to watch that. Please don't make me. So Ji-Hwan Bae, Rodolfo Castro need to be in the lineup every day to me. Bae, I'm with you. I think he probably needs to be in center, but the way this team is right now, I don't know how you can really do it. It's a weird roster construction at this moment.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really know how you can fit him in the center field every day with as many at bats that need to go around.
Yeah. I think, you got to be creative, but at the same time, you also need one of these people who can play second base to step up.
Right.
Like someone's gonna have to step up, whether that's Matthias, whether that's Tucapita Marcano, whether that's someone who's not on the 40-man roster in Nick Gonzalez, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like one of those 3 guys needs to step up and come to play this year. Anthony mentions Triolo too. Like that's another guy where, once he comes back from an injury, there's going to be opportunities for all of these guys for the rest of this season. And one of them has to take advantage. I mean, plain and simple, because otherwise you're going to have a giant hole in there every day, whether you have, Bae at second, and then you've got to play maybe Sawinski, who hasn't looked great, but yeah, I think at this point, Bae probably fits best in center field. Yeah. And then you're going to have to get somebody to fill in at second base.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know who that guy. Yeah. I don't know who that guy is right now.
I don't either.
I can tell you it's not Mark Matthias, but we're going to find out for sure here.
Yeah. I mean, he'll get a run. I think he'll get a run. And he probably deserves it. At this point, he deserves a look, but I'm not.
I gave him a glance. I'm done.
I think he deserves at least a somewhat look at second base. Just like if he doesn't work out, then you got to move on to the next person. But I'm willing to give him more than 3 games right now, but maybe not more than like 10. Like once we hit 10 games, if he's still doing this, then so long.
Yeah. It might be just looking down the road, it might not be a bad idea to let Kanan Smith and Jigba go get some everyday at bats down in AAA and maybe go with a Marcano, a guy that can fill in there and play the corners. But that's probably a conversation for another day.
Yeah, I think I think Triolo's the guy I'm looking forward to coming back and seeing if there's anything there.
I'm with you on him, but how much longer is he out?
I think he's still got like 5 weeks ish. So I mean, it's gonna
I
be,
don't know if I could do 5 weeks of Mark Mathias in my
life. It's gonna be next month. Like, yeah, 5 weeks of Mark Mathias.
That's a long time.
Unless he can step it up a little bit. Yeah, I don't know if I can take that. I took 2. You know what? I think if we hadn't put up with Josh Van Meter for like 5 months last year, I could handle a little bit more of a Mark Mathias.
Yeah.
But after that Josh Van Meter run, like, I'm done with these guys. Like, I'll give them a little bit of a chance. If there's nothing there, you got to move on.
I'm not going down the list of all the other Josh Van Meters we've dealt with, but yeah, I'm good with whatever's next.
Yeah. But that's it for pretty much the offense. Castro, I mean, we didn't really talk about him too much, but against the lefty, so doing the damage against the people he's supposed to, solo homer after the Joe homer. And that really helped kind of put a little bit more of a buffer in between. That made it 4-0 going into that bottom of the 8th inning. So just a great job by the Pirates getting to Montgomery eventually, getting to that bullpen all around. Just really good execution, especially late in the game.
Yeah, and to go back to Castro real quick, I like what he's doing right now. I'm not going to say I'm sold on him, but I think he's putting together some pretty good at-bats. He's starting to look a little more comfortable. And he's going to get every opportunity because really he's the only guy left that plays shortstop. Bay does it kind of, but Castro is probably the guy there.
Yeah, I mean, he's not your ideal fit for shortstop by any means. He's capable of playing it. And yeah, I don't know. He's definitely, I think he's more capable of playing it than the other guys, the other options that they have. So he's going to play a lot. And so he's got to take advantage of this opportunity. And he took advantage of it at the end of last year. Like, those last couple months, once he got called back up last year, Castro played really well. So if he can just replicate that success from last year,
Castro, just be good again. What are you doing?
Yeah, right. Castro can be good again, and if Bay can actually be good, then maybe we can weather this storm at least for a little bit while Cruz is out. Obviously, that's just no one's going, like, you can't replace O'Neal Cruz. Like, that's not going to happen. But hopefully, you got enough guys step up in incremental amounts that it's not as big of a loss as we expect.
Yeah, at the very least, make the team watchable every night.
Yep, and that's what they've been. They've been watchable.
They've been more than watchable so far,
pretty much all year long. Yep, except that last Vince Velasquez start and some Rich Hill starts.
Yeah, but like those are during the day, so I don't care.
That's true. It's been the day. It's been those day games that have been bad.
So I'm working. They lose by 7 or whatever.
Just win all the night games, lose the day games.
Exactly. Win all the games I got to jump on the post-game show for.
Yeah. No, that's a good call.
Because I don't like being angry after the game.
If we've got to do post-game shows, we should win those. The ones that we can't get on, they can lose those games.
Yeah. You're going to lose like 54 games no matter what. You might as well just lose the ones I'm not post-gaming on.
No, I like that. I like that strategy. So tying things up here, Pirates bullpen, shaky. Holderman was shaky. Moretta was, gave up that hit, but Dwayne Underwood looked great in the 7th. He's been fine really all year long.
He's used for 1 inning, Jim, and he's coming in a clean inning. I mean, we were rightfully, probably, maybe somewhat wrongfully, hard on Underwood for the last 2 years or so, but in his defense, he was put in a lot of very tough situations. Some of it because the Pirates just sucked, and others because there were just no other options. He's doing very well in this 1 inning role, and they seem to be fitting him into that 7 inning role right now. He's coming in a clean inning, and really he looks pretty good.
Yeah, no, he looked really good today. 2 strikeouts, 1, 2, 3 inning, just dominated the 3 batters that he faced. Holderman comes in and he's had successful results all season long. Has not given up a run yet, and this was now his 6th game, I believe. 6th game, yeah. So Colin Holderman. What are your thoughts on Colin Holderman thus far?
He scares the living shit out of me. When you say shaky bullpen, I think of Colin Holderman right now because he's just giving up way too much hard contact. He's kind of erratic. It feels like something's going to go wrong every time he comes in, and I know that's mainly fans' mentality, but it just doesn't feel right.
Yeah, I mean, tonight, 105, 100, 100 are the exit velocities off of him, his first 3 batters. But he got out of it, stranded the bases loaded.
Gave up a liner.
Yeah, ERA is still 0. And luckily at that point, too, like even though he got in trouble, the offense had gotten to that 4-0 lead ahead of time.
Right.
So you had a little bit of a buffer zone there, where if he could have, he could have afforded to give up a couple runs, but hey, he gets out of it.
Yeah,
no runs.
But that's a big part where you really don't want him to give up runs because you don't want to have to burn Bednar there.
No, you're right. And then the 5th run in the 9th inning kind of sealed that fate where you didn't have to turn to Bednar. I think they would have gone to him in a 4-0 game.
Yeah.
But with it being 5-0, they bring in Money Moretta. Your boy.
I know you love him, man, but I'd prefer he just be good at pitching and not humorous and pretty boring.
No, so I would prefer him to be both good at pitching and I like the swag. Like, give me the swag, but with success.
The swagger is so ridiculous for how just not good he is.
Well, that's what I was mentioning that before. Like, the fact that this dude, he's been like up and down from AAA to the majors for the last 4 years. The fact that he's got the swag that he does, it's just, I love him for it.
The dude gives up 110-mile-an-hour rockets.
Where he walks the bases loaded, but then he gets 1 out, gets out of the inning. Love it. I love it, Tyler.
You're not going to love it when he actually gives up a run in a big spot. And then he walks off the mound doing the money stuff.
Well, no, but let's just avoid that situation then. Let's just be good. Yesterday, he gives up the nuke, right? But it was in a meaningless baseball game. So I'm not too concerned. They bring him back out. He pitches the 9th inning, scoreless. The swag is back as far as I'm concerned. Love the dude.
I mean, he's funny. I'll give him that. Yeah. I find him funny right now because he's not giving up a shot in the big spot. I mean, Anthony is right there.
Yeah, Anthony says he has more humility than Jason Grilli. That's true. He has yet to, compare himself to Jesus Christ of Nazareth. So
that is a positive. Now he's just comparing himself to Johnny Manziel.
Yes, who had a ton of swag. Now, also not good, not good, but definitely a lot of swag. How about this? What if Moretta is like Texas A&M Johnny Manziel? Can we live with that? We can live with that.
I mean, Texas A&M Johnny Manziel won a Heisman.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could live with
reliever Moretta. Of the year.
Yeah, if he just decides that he's gonna be the greatest reliever.
Yeah, that's the reliever of the season. Yeah, we could live with that. Yeah,
that's fine.
All right, you got any last thoughts about the game before we kick things?
No, we got
out of here.
We got a long weekend here of baseball. 4-game stand with the Cards. Tonight was the latest game, I think.
Tonight was 7:40 Eastern time. Tonight's win also guarantees that the Cardinals will not finish this series with a higher record than the Pirates.
Love that.
So the Pirates will be at least 500 at the end of this series. So nice win. Game 2 is tomorrow. Ooh, game 2 is actually later tomorrow.
Okay, it's
Tyler.
tomorrow's the 8 something.
8:15
Okay.
Eastern tomorrow.
That's what it is.
Johan Oviedo against Jake Woodford. Oviedo had a really, really nice start last time out. See if he can build upon that success.
Yeah, it's Oviedo revenge game.
Oviedo. Oh, you know what? I didn't even catch that dynamic. You're right. Oviedo revenge game tomorrow. He's going to repeat it. Pirates are going to take the first 2 games of this series.
Love it. Love it.
All right.
Count it, and you're not going, so it's an easy win.
Easy win. All right. Pirates win 5-0. Let's get out of here. Tyler, have a good night. Thanks you guys for watching. And now you got to listen to me take you out on this outro video. See you guys.
Peace out, Girl Scouts.
Hey, you all. Thank you for watching. I know we try to provide the most entertaining content that we can, and we'd love to spread it to as many people as possible. So I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but if you could take the 5 seconds to like this video and subscribe to the page, it helps out so much more than you know. Thank you, and let's go Bucks.